Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all for your patience. We will now call to order our regular city council meeting. All council members are present. We will have our invocation by Mr. Don Smith, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Gonzalez. Would you all please stand? I know.
Let's all bow our heads, please. Lord, thank you for all you do for us. We owe you so much. As we get older, we can look back on our lives and see all the good things and some of the not so good things that we have done, because we are constantly changing. While we constantly change, what's the one thing that stays the same? The love that Jesus gives us. He's always there to help us. As we go about our worldly tasks, we need to listen and live the type of life that Jesus wants us to live. And let's treat everyone the same way he treats us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Smith and Councilwoman Gonzalez. We will now have presentations. Madam Secretary.
Madam Mayor, we need to approve the agenda first, please.
Oh, excuse me, I had marked it off. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Mayor Pro Tem?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Kendrick seconded. All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Madam Secretary.
Presentations. PR 26004. Presentation of 2 awards from the Clean Rodeo Committee to City Council.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Gordon.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, esteemed council members, Mr. Cagle. Thank you for giving Rodeo Killeen a chance to speak today. What we came here to do was talk about the awards we received. As most of you know, Rodeo Killeen received 2 national awards this year. In December, we went to Las Vegas and were presented these awards at the National Finals Rodeo, which is the Super Bowl of rodeo. So it doesn't get any higher than that. First award, of course, was the Medium Rodeo of the Year. And then the second award was the Justin Best Footing Award, which has to do with the quality of our arena dirt. This year we did a lot of work on that, and that's the first year we've won this award. It's a very prestigious award. So we received the best dirt, basically, in the state of Texas, beating out Stephenville, which is considered the cowboy capital of the world, and Rodeo Austin, which is a major rodeo. So it's a great, it was great to receive those awards. Just a little bit, the 4 things that make up Rodeo Killeen, of course, starts with our rodeo committee members. We have probably 50 to 60 committee members each year that work throughout the entire year for those 3 days. Again, no one gets paid. We have a couple cowboy churches that are also heavily involved that support us. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the spectators that come. You know, we have to entertain. We have to put on a good show to get the stands filled, to get the people here, to bring that economic impact to the city. The third thing being the contestants, those people that come here from across the nation and across from different countries that come here to compete. This past year, we had over 18 world champions in Killeen. That's never happened before. We had over 500 contestants. That's never happened before. Rodeo Killeen is on the national stage of rodeo. And after these awards this year, we will be even higher up on that stage. And then the last thing, if I've counted it right, of course, is the support of the city council. Since we kind of got back together about 3 to 4 years ago, our improvement with the rodeo and working for the city of Killeen has definitely improved. And I think you see it with what we're bringing to the city. So without further ado, what we'd like to do, Madam Mayor, is present you with this plaque. We do plan to hang these plaques inside the Killeen Conference Center for everyone to see. And at this time, if I could have the rest of the committee members come up here.
Brett. I guess let's go down there too.
Could you announce the rest of their names?
So, committee members, we have Mr. Paler, John Paler, Paul Hopkins, John Odom, Brenda Gagne, Chad Black, Amanda Wilkinson, Danny Bray, my wife Cindy Adamson, Sean Shannon, and of course, Brett Gordon, and myself, Mike Adamson. And there's a lot of people that aren't actually here also.
We should stand up too. Yeah. Oh, so I'm gonna be standing up.
Can everyone see my camera? On 3, and 1, 2, 3, and one more. 1, 2, 3.
Again, thank you for your support. And rodeo is May 14th to the 16th.
Sir, you're the one that did. Thank you, sir. Don't forget to send me the write-up.
We'd like to just thank the Killeen Rodeo and our staff member, Amanda, for just keeping us on the map in the rodeo arena. Thank you all. Thank you. Madam Secretary.
Work session, discuss agenda items 2 through 9 for the February 3rd, 2026 regular session. MN 26006, consider minutes of regular city council meeting of January 6, 2026. MN 26007, consider minutes of special city council meeting of January 6, 2026. RS 26023, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing City of Killeen officials to submit the grant application for the fiscal year 2027 Victims of Crime Act Crisis Assistance Program grant through the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division, and to accept any subsequently awarded grant.
Thank you. Chief Lopez. Good afternoon, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. This is a item we normally submit later on in the year for the state, but the state changed the rules this year, and they wanted to submit it earlier, so here we go. The Victims Assistance Office of the Police Department has initiated the application for a one-year grant from the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division, to fund the continuation of the Crisis Assistance Program. The application number is 359-7608. The grant will provide funding for the crime victims clerk, continued professional counseling services, emergency financial assistance, and temporary shelter services for safety to victims of violent crimes. The total award amount and cash match are unknown currently. The Office of the Governor has changed the process by which grants are applied for. The applications must have a fully executed resolution from the governing body at the time of the grant application submission, with a commitment to provide a cash match. The police department will be requesting $100,000 in funding for this grant. In grant years past, the matching funds have been budgeted as part of the crime victims liaison salary. Staff recommends that the City Council authorize the city manager or the executive director of finance to submit the 2027 Volcker grant application for the Clean Crisis Assistance Program and to modify or cancel the application as necessary. Additionally, staff recommends authorizing the city manager or executive director of finance to commit the required matching funds in the form of cash match contributions. This recommendation also includes allowing the Killeen Police Department to allocate and administer the duties outlined in the grant under the oversight of the city's finance department. In the event of the loss or misuse of grant funds, the city agrees to promptly return all funds to the Criminal Justice Division of the Office of the Governor. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Please raise your hand. Councilmember Kendrick?
Good afternoon, Chief. As I was reading up on this here, this grant also provides for, let's give an example, like a woman that is in a bad situation and having to move out. It provides funds where if she's, been in a violent act, to where they can be put up in a hotel and all of that good stuff to help these victims out, to relocate them away from the trouble.
Yes, sir. It does provide funds for temporary shelters for victims of domestic violence or other violent crimes.
And
Up to a certain period of time, then we assist them with applying with longer funds through the Criminal Justice Division from our governor's office.
right, and I also was reading, if you are a citizen of Killeen, even if you get into something in a different state, these funds still can be allocated to you because you are a citizen of Texas.
That's something I will have to find the answer for. I'm not familiar with that stipulation of the grant.
Yes, sir.
But what I can tell you is that last year, our two victims clerks assisted over 2,100 victims, which is an increase of about 250 to 300 compared to 2024. So there is a need for these funds, and I hope you'll support it.
That answered my questions.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary?
RS 26024, consider a memorandum resolution approving a letter of agreement with Mobo Trex LLC for upgrading traffic signal system equipment for year one of a 5-year maintenance plan in the amount of $616,126.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Noel.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council. Today we have a letter of agreement with Mobotrex LLC. Little bit of background. The Transportation Division maintains 101 traffic signals throughout the city. In 2013, a sole distributor of Unix traffic signal equipment in Texas, Iteris, designed and installed technology system that operates the City of Killeen's Traffic Management Center. The TMC is fully compatible with Unix traffic signal equipment and products that we are currently using today in our system. As of June 1st, 2025, Mobotrex LLC became the sole distributor in Texas for Unix traffic signal equipment. In 2023, Iteris Inc. was retained by the city to inventory, inspect existing traffic signaling equipment at the city's intersection and developed a 5-year upgrade plan. Year one of the traffic signal inventory and a 5-year maintenance plan was approved in the FY26 budget. The first of the 5-year maintenance plan focuses on upgrading signals components for 12 intersections. Upgrades include vehicle detection cameras, electrical components, signal heads, and traffic cabinets where necessary. As a sole source distributor of Unix traffic equipment, Mobile Trex LLC will supply the equipment needs for the upgrades. Our staff will be responsible for installing that equipment. Iteris Inc. will provide the programming assistance and connectivity of the upgrade equipment to the TMC. The traffic signal system upgrades for year one are included in the FY26 budget in the amount of $663,000. The letter of agreement for Mobile Trex LLC in the amount of $616,126. These are the 12 intersections that we'll be doing in year one. On the top left, you will see the Traffic Management Center. That's what it looks like. Every one of you guys have been to our traffic center and seen what it's capable of. On the bottom left is our actual traffic signal cabinet. If we all notice, I guess it has a huge magnet on it because cars love to hit it. We do have one on standby when that happens. And as you can also see the components, there's a lot of components that goes inside of these cabinets. And that's part of the stuff that we'll be upgrading through these 5-year process. On the right, you see an intersection, which it has circles on it. One is the video detection, the crosswalk notification, and the signal heads. Those are just some of the components that you see out there. Recommendation, City Council authorize the city manager or designee to execute a letter of agreement with the sole source Mobile Trex LLC in the amount of $616,126. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Council, do you have any questions? Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks for that presentation. At a conference I attended, I know that Unix is a little proprietary on some of their things, but some of the technology allows you to do additional things from the traffic without actually being at the cabinet. As they upgrade, will we be able to take advantage of those? And if not, are there systems that Unix will allow to connect to be able to do those upgrades?
Yes, we will be able to see them. As we all know, technology is getting upgraded every day. So this will allow us, the TMC, actually to see how the intersection is flowing and how it's going out there from the actual center.
And you can make adjustments from the...
Yes.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Councilman Solomon, did your hand just go? Okay, yeah, I saw it. Sir?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this is great. I noticed that it serves just about the entire quarter of W.S. Young. Is that correct?
Yes.
These are all intersections of W.S. Young.
So the 12 intersections on year one, they were selected by the age of the equipment that needs to be upgraded.
Okay. Is there any plans to complete the other part of W.S. Young, the northern part?
Yes, we have it broken down into 5 different years. And we just went off of the plan that they set for us according to the cabinets and the needs of the cabinets. And then we will work on the other intersections in following years.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else? Thank you, sir. Madam Secretary.
RS 26025, consider a memorandum resolution approving a Chapter 311 tax increment reimbursement agreement with Colleen Investments LLC for the reimbursement of off-site public improvements and additions to the city's wastewater sewer system in the amount of $119,865.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mrs. Masher.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So Colleen Investments LLC, doing business as Blue Acre Development, is located at 601 Twin Creek Drive. It's a speculative industrial developer bringing 180,000 square feet of new industrial space to the market, which will support Colleen's growing demand for modern logistics and manufacturing facilities. Colleen Investments LLC has requested a real property tax reimbursement from the TERS in an amount not to exceed $119,865 for the construction of off-site improvements and additions to the city's wastewater sewer system located within the right-of-way adjacent to Ricky Carlisle Circle. If approved, funding for this reimbursement will be provided solely from the real property tax increment generated from the property's increased valuation after construction. Subject property is currently valued at $356,464. At full build-out, the project will be valued at an estimated $22.5 million, which will add new ad valorem tax to the tax roll and significantly enhance the area's taxable base. With that, staff recommends approval of the Chapter 311 reimbursement agreement in the amount of $119,865. On September 17th, the TERS Board also recommended approval of the proposed agreement as presented. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, excellent job. Any questions of Mrs. Mesher? Thank you, great
Yes, ma'am.
job. Madam Secretary.
Thank you. RS 26026, consider a memorandum resolution appointing members to the Charter Review Committee.
Thank you. Attorney Clemmons.
Thank you. Good afternoon again, Mayor and City Council. This is your item to appoint members to the Charter Review Committee. So a little bit of background, reminder. Try again. On January 20th, City Council approved a motion of direction creating a Charter Review Committee to provide recommendations as to amendments to the city's charter. City staff advertised the committee and solicited applications. Those applications were opened on January 21st and closed on January 30th. I do believe you have a list of those. You have those applications in your packet, Council. And so per that motion of direction, each council member was going to appoint one citizen to the committee. So each district council member would select a citizen that resides in their district, and at-large council members would select an applicant from the pool regardless of the district in which the applicant resides. So staff recommends that council appoint members to the Charter Review Committee in accordance with the motion of direction on January 20th, 2026. And if you give me those, your selections at this time, we can record those for the record, and you can vote on those in your regular session tonight.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. So we're going to start with Councilmember Kendrick and go down. If you're not prepared, we'll just go to the next person. Councilmember Kendrick for District 4.
I'm nominating Amanda Sidney from District 4.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
I've got Joseph A. Barr.
Would that be Jerry?
Joseph.
Joseph. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Ready?
Oh, yes, sir.
I nominate Leo Gukaizen.
Councilmember Solomon.
Madam Mayor, I nominate Samuel Powell Jr.
Councilwoman Cobb.
Madam Mayor, I am pleased to announce Renee Noriga.
And Councilmember Alvarez.
Jerry Bark.
Is there anything else you need from us, Madam Attorney?
There is that one, since Councilmember Segarra is not here, that is an at-large position. If we want to have that position remain vacant, or if council as a whole wants to
If the
recommend.
council don't mind, I'll just select a person. Are y'all okay with that? Councilwoman Gonzalez? Are y'all okay with me just selecting someone? Oh, I don't know anybody. Most of these folks. I'm going to go with Mr. Sorry. Mr. Jerry, did we do Jerry Barr? Oh, okay, we did him. Thomas Earl, is that Tomlin? I don't know who that is, but, okay. So I go with him if he's available. Oh, did we get Mr. Leo Gukais? Okay, I go with him.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. If you have any other questions of me, but going forward, you can vote on, those will be the names we'll have recorded in the record if you vote in the, on consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Madam Secretary.
RS 26027, consider a memorandum resolution approving early voting and election day joint election contracts with Killeen Independent School District. And this is my item. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
On May 2nd, 2026, the City of Killeen will conduct a general election for the offices of mayor and 3 council members at large. On the same day, the Killeen Independent School District will conduct a general election to elect members to their Board of Trustees. State law authorizes 2 or more political subdivisions, which may be conducting elections on the same day, to contract jointly for election services, and to do so, each political subdivision must enter into an agreement specifying the terms. The contract for election services early voting provides for early voting to be conducted by the city secretary on behalf of the 2 entities. KISD will reimburse the city for 1/2 its share of the election expenses and personnel costs associated with conducting early voting. The contract for election services election day also provides that the city secretary will conduct the majority of election-related duties on behalf of the 2 entities, with KISD reimbursing the city for 1/2 its share of the election expenses. The benefits of conducting joint elections are voter convenience and reduction of election costs for each entity. Election expenses will initially be paid upfront by the city, with KISD reimbursing the municipality for 1/2 of the expenses. The estimated cost to conduct the May 2026 election is roughly $90,000. Staff recommends City Council approve the joint election contracts with KISD, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Madam City Secretary? Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm, I believe that you said that the positions were for 3 council members at large. I wanted to confirm it was 2 at large in 1 district, or is that correct?
There are 3 at-large
at-large.
positions for the general election.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am,
I
and
appreciate
the
it.
mayor's position as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And the clarity to that is that District 2 seat is still active. And when it would become after 8 days, then it would come back to the council. Okay. All right. And I know you understand, but I want to clarify. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I just broke it all down. We're on the same sheet of music. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary.
OR 26004, consider an ordinance ordering the May 2nd, 2026 general election for the purpose of electing a mayor and 3 council members at large. So maybe this will clarify things a little bit further. Okay. On May 2nd, 2026, the city will hold a general election for the purpose of electing a mayor and 3 council members at large. Current members are Debbie Nash King, mayor, Ramon Alvarez at large, Riacos Adams at large, and then there is a current vacancy. That was Council Member Segarra's position. The city began receiving candidate applications on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, and the application process will be open until Friday, February 13th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Early voting will occur on the weekdays aside from Tuesday, April 21st, since this is a state holiday. Election Day will be Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. The same 3 early voting polling locations will be used from previous years. Voters are still able to cast their ballot at any of the 3 locations during early voting. The 8 Election Day polling locations are the same from last year. To note, there are a couple of new precincts designated by Bell County in the summer of 2025, the first being Precinct 217 in District 2. Voters in 217 will cast ballots at Cedar Valley Elementary School on Election Day. The other new precinct is 420 in District 3. Those voters will cast ballots at the Killeen Lions Park Senior Center on Election Day. Voters must vote at their precinct-specific polling location on Election Day. Before you is a polling locations map, which indicates early voting and Election Day polling locations throughout the city. The city utilizes election equipment from election systems and software, including the e-poll book, Express Vote ballot marking machine, and the DS200 digital tabulator. And staff recommends City Council order the May 2nd, 2026 general election.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Cagle.
Yes, ma'am.
The million-dollar question, so the council and the residents will know, public, how do we get this information out, ensuring that everybody be at the right place, right time, on right day?
Well, it'll be on the city secretary's election page website, and we'll also be putting it out on social media early and often.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you also, Madam Secretary. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Any
happy to
question-
answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem has one.
Madam Secretary, are any other cities conducting elections and an alternate day for the holiday? Do you know?
Are any of the cities conducting?
So we're losing an election day for the holiday.
Correct, by state law.
Okay.
The state mandated that we could not hold early voting on April 21st. I think what you may be referring to is a Senate bill that has not gone into effect yet.
Gotcha.
And so we do not have to offer weekend voting at this time.
Thank you.
Good question, Mayor Pro Tem, the state law. Good question. All right, with that being said, we're going to go into our citizen comments. Melissa Brown, you have 3 minutes. She's not here. Okay, Mr. Michael Fornino. Welcome back, sir. You have 3 minutes. They have the floor, council.
At the last meeting, when this item was first approached, at the 3-hour, 47-minute mark, as confirmed by the city secretary and by your own video, my council representative, Nina Cobb, said that she would put the first person who emailed her on the Charter Review Committee. I emailed her from the gallery. My phone was blowing up. Are you going to email her? Then it was decided during the meeting that it had to be by formal application. Confirmed by the city secretary, that application was received as the first and only one that morning from District 3. So, my councilman, once again, decides to vote against her own words. Yeah, she can sit there with that smug smile. It's all on record. It all happened in this room. When I proposed a committee as a crime prevention committee, got changed to the Crime Solutions Committee, which for a year and a half solved nothing and took on a very special racial bias in its agenda. Ms. Cobb further stated in an email that she had been approached by someone and then several people prior to last week's meeting, before the subject was even discussed in this chamber. So, Ms. Cobb, you have an integrity issue. You can't keep your own word. Yeah. Stick your tongue out at me. So this council, once again, disappoints. My own record at this council throughout 2025, as confirmed by the city secretary and open records request, my participation at these meetings far outpaces and exceeds her own. You only made 2 official phone calls on your official phone call all year last year. Your attendance record is atrocious. You sponsored only 1 agenda item the entire year of 2025. And yet, I'll beat my own drum. Someone as dynamic as me shows up here, actually gives a damn, and you're going to say, I don't count? I say you're a racist.
Melissa Brown, you have 3 minutes.
The charter is the citizens' document. It doesn't belong to the council. It doesn't really even belong to the city. That is a document that is only able to be amended by a vote of the people who live in Killeen. It isn't right that the city is going to or the city council is going to dictate what can be reviewed. If we're going to do a charter review, it should encompass the entire charter, because we get one chance every 2 years to make changes. Just because you may not feel like it's important to be covered today doesn't mean that the citizens feel differently. There's a reason for putting a committee together, because those are the citizens that are able to go out and talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends, talk to the businesses next door to them, and see what does need to be changed in the charter portion of the city, that the council can't make those amendments to, only the voters can. I think that it is incredibly wrong to tell us we're going to allow the citizens to have a say in it, but only on the parts that we say you can have a say in. Also, when it comes to land banking, we already have the county that does an auction for tax purposes and for bankruptcy purposes every month. Based on the information provided in the presentation by the staff, less than a third of the properties that are currently vacant, behind on taxes, would actually qualify to be put into a land trust. Then we have to form another nonprofit. We would have to hire an attorney. We would have to maintain all of the properties, which is an expense on us going out to maintain them. There are laws regarding how much properties can be auctioned off for, so you can't just give it the highest bidder. We can't keep anything above and beyond what's due on taxes. Let's continue to let the county manage and handle all of the auctioning. It's not going to benefit the city, because once they auction it, then it goes back into the tax rolls anyway. It's already on the tax rolls. It's just those taxes are not being paid currently. And someone has to be 3 years delinquent before it's even qualified to go into a land banking program. There's no way, looking over the numbers, that we get enough revenue out of it to justify the expense and the time being put into it. It requires hiring additional full-time employees. We could pay our current full-time employees more to manage the needs the city already has, rather than taking on properties and land that we don't need.
Thank you. Candice Cooper, you have 3 minutes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council, City Manager. I was coming in to speak in reference to the reunification of facility presentation discussion. Obviously, again, being president for the Downtown Killeen Merchants Association on the Downtown Advisory Committee, the great concern of ours, since this issue was tabled, we all were adamant and excited about the fact that it was moving out of the downtown area. And then, so to find out that the now option or suggestion by staff is to give them more money to open up the facility for more people, it goes against, one, the downtown comprehensive plan for 2040, And then it also will interfere with how we present it to downtown business owners to come in and invest in the downtown area. And so I do think that, and I try to make sure that I never sound heartless when discussing this issue, but there are downtown business owners that we have put all of our money into these facilities with the goal and the idea and the mission to grow the area. And so there are things that it does affect the business owners. So I think adding on to a organization that you already voted not to give more funding to, because they were coming back every 6 months to ask for more funding, opening up for more beds, are we going to require them to also provide other resources? What all does that additional money entail? Because just opening up more beds for them to be at night, but then still releasing now the additional people out into the streets during the day is what the business owners in the downtown area were hoping would change with the relocation of the facility. So I definitely would love to kind of find out more about what's the actual plan? Are there any other options? Because we did push the economic development for downtown, that this center was moving out of the area. And so again, just came down here to advocate for all the businesses in the downtown area. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Ashley Smith, good afternoon. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members, and the city manager, of course. I'm Director Ashley DJ Such a Lady Smith. I'm on Bell County Tax Board. I'm elected place 3, and I'm also a proud Killeen resident. And I support any ordinance and legislation and even information that decreases voter apathy in our great city. I understand how important civil engagement is to our democratic process. When citizens are informed and involved, we see greater compliance, understanding, and ultimately a stronger community. I believe that transparent policies and accessible voting procedures are essential to combating the growing issue of voter disengagement. I stand ready to collaborate, and so do my other board members, with this council on implementing measures that will encourage greater participation in our electoral process. And thank you for your consideration. And of course, happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cobb, I'm not sure if you wanted to talk before I call Ms. McNair up, or did you have any comments before I move forward?
Madam Mayor, I, at one point, had thought to reply to comments. However, I would not. I know who I am. I know who I stand, what I stand for. And you know what? I'm going to continue to stand for integrity, for honest, and for people. What he may think may be wrong.
Please stop the disruption, Mr. Pernino.
So, I don't have any comments for sincere ignorancy. And it's being that it's Dr. King that we're celebrating Black history, I'm going to use some of Dr. King's word, sincere ignorancy. It's an ignorancy that we don't want to have, and that's one that I'm not going to have tonight.
Sorry, anybody else have a statement? I mean, not statement, anybody else have questions? Miss McNair. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
I am a big advocate for a comprehensive plan 2040, and especially downtown Killeen. So I just have a couple questions for your clarification. Would you go in more details? You heard what one of the business owners stated about downtown Killeen, about what would happen and the comprehensive plan, and also the council want to move downtown Killeen forward, and we want to ensure that we get more businesses for economic development and boom. Would you please elaborate on some of the things that were said for clarification, not only to the council, but also to business owners downtown and the residents? And thank you.
Thank you. So the 2040 plan was in place and adopted by this council, and it's a good plan. What I will be presenting in the next part of this meeting is a report back to you all based on a motion of direction to try to actually make that idea and that plan come to fruition. And so what is being presented and what is being offered is an alternative with the advisement. There were at least 3 council people who, since I was last here speaking about the reunification center, I took all of that advisement under consideration before I put this presentation together. And this right now is the best alternative for this city.
Yes, ma'am.
So I understand the concerns of any business owner throughout the city of Killeen and the hard work that has been done to revitalize the city. I would say no city across this country wants to have an overburden or a high population of unsheltered people in their downtown. It doesn't do anything for them. It causes some public safety concerns and whatnot, public health concerns as well. But the reality is this is what we are facing, and we have to take what we have and move that forward. This is actually a way to, with everything that is in the presentation, it is a more comprehensive approach to reduce and or eliminate homelessness in the city of Killeen. And part of that is not adding beds for more people. It's within the presentation. Again, I just want to emphasize that because I haven't had
I
the
didn't want you to go
opportunity.
in detail, because I know it's come. I just wanted you to address that's
It's
why I
just
said
to-
2040 comprehensive plan.
Yeah, it's just
Yes,
to, be responsive to the direction that I was given from this council to either see if we can make this happen as it was initially presented in that plan, and then if not, I owe it to you and to these citizens to provide an alternative, and that's what I am bringing forth later.
All right, and I'll wait till you get to your presentation.
Thank you.
I just wait. Thank you. No, thank you. All right, council, we have our regular consent agenda. Madam Secretary.
Consent agenda. MN 26006, MN 26007, RS 26023, RS 26024, RS 26025, RS 26026, RS 26027, OR 26004, bless you. The caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance ordering the holding of an election in the city of Killeen, Texas for the purpose of electing a mayor and 3 council members at large, providing for the filing of written application to have their names printed on the official ballot, specifying that the provisions of the general election law shall control all questions pertaining to such election, designating the polling locations, prescribing the contents of the official ballot, providing for election worker compensation, and providing for the posting and publication of notice of election and containing miscellaneous provisions."
Secretary, thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem.
I did have a quick question, Mayor. If we're going to, are we still including, because I see that DS 2609.
That's not included in the consent agenda.
Okay, just one.
The consent agenda is item
I got
1
it.
through 9.
Yeah, I got it now.
Can I get a motion to approve
That's what
with
I'm about
this?
to do. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. The consent agenda is passed 6-0. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready, discussion items.
Yes, ma'am. DS 26009, discuss and consider scope of review for the Charter Review Committee.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
All right. So Again, the background, January 20th, council approved a motion direction creating the Charter Review Committee, and you've appointed members tonight. What I need tonight also is a motion of direction providing the review of the charter would be limited to those sections or topics as selected by city council. So we're requesting that direction to determine which sections and topics of the charter should be reviewed.
Thank you for that. Madam City Attorney, before we move forward, from a legal perspective, can the council decide, present to the Charter Review Committee the scope that they would like for them to review? Or is it required by state law that they must review the whole charter?
No, you can limit the review. There's no requirement for a charter review committee at all. Council could have brought those
Correct.
topics that they wanted to review. But instead, you've appointed a review committee, and you can limit to topics or sections or however you want to limit that review, or you could have them review the whole charter. It would be up to you.
And that is legal?
Definitely. There's no state law or other law that would require you to have the review committee review the whole charter.
Thank you. With that being said, we'll start with Councilmember Alvarez this time, and if there's anything each individual council member would like for our Charter Review Committee that you selected to go over, please state it now for Madam City Attorney. Councilmember Alvarez, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep this brief. This has come up numerous times, so I would say Article 10.
Article 10, for the record, what would that be, council member? Would you just read it out for Madam Secretary for the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Article 10 is labeled as Initiative, Referendum, and Recall.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Yes, y'all, just your time next. Yes, ma'am. Anything that you would like for the Charter Review Committee to review?
Madam Mayor, I am very interested. And I think the city and our constituents would be interested in the recall. I think that's a great part of the, that we would need to have. I don't have the article, though. Do I need the article?
It's Article 10.
Article 10.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Solomon.
Madam Mayor, I would like for them to kind of like review the alignment of our elections with the state. If they could, in terms of aligning our dates up with.
To align it with the resolution you adopted pursuant to state law for November?
Yes.
Odd number year elections.
Yes. And also wanted to, I don't know what article that, what I wanted to do and would like to see is that we would align when we had the marijuana issue, that I've shared this with, I talked it over with staff, trying to get some information in terms of aligning that up with the state as well. That we would not override the state authority.
That's Article 10 as well.
Article 10, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. I emailed some of mine to the legal team. Two already were stated. One of the topics, and I don't remember I didn't put the articles in here, but review the term limits and the time frame of the terms, as in whether 2 or 4 years, because we can't go to odd number of years, considering the state law that we just, that was basis of our resolution. Council compensation. This is one that citizens have reached out to me a number of times, even ones that you would be surprised about. the article on special meeting authority. Currently, the charter would put council in violation of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Outside the mayor, it calls for 4 council members. So I'd like the committee to review that. I would like the the charter was approved for investigations, but I would like the committee to consider whether the council is required or not to have a process approved by ordinance. And that is it.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Thank you. So, again, most of them were stated Article 10, again, removing archaic and conflicting sections with state statutes, which fall under 10. You just mentioned timing, election timing, correct? Standards of recall, and then, yeah, so that's all that I have at this point, and they are in line with those. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Kendrick.
Just talk loud.
There we go. I'm along the same line as 3 of the other council members on the recall procedures, and also looking at the wording that is within the nuisances within the city, and just going over that to really get into what is actually a nuisance and what is not.
I think the nuisances are in the Code of Ordinances and not the charter, which, so you wouldn't have, need a charter review committee. The Code of Ordinances, that could be a direction to, we can talk about coming
Okay.
back on nuisance information.
But that was my main concern, was the charter.
The charter.
On the recall procedures.
Council, do y'all have any more? Councilmember Alvarez or anyone? Just raise your hand, please. Do you have any? I'm go back to you because you may have thought of something. Do you have one?
No, ma'am, it sounds like we've mentioned Article 3, 9, and 10.
6.
And
Six.
6. It's
And
franchises and public utilities.
And I have a
Right.
list
Yes,
of
ma'am.
topics.
Give me one moment. Are you finished, Councilmember Alvarez? Are you finished with that? Is it 6, chapter? Oh. Yes, ma'am. Floor yours.
Oh, I was just gonna, I can recall what I have, and if I can get a motion of direction from council that this is one you want
Yes,
the
ma'am.
review committee to look at. So what I have is Article 10 to review initiative, referendum, and recall section. That was mentioned several times, and then we've got the alignment of the election with the November odd number year election resolution that was passed recently. We've got to review not overriding state authority related to the marijuana issue. And then term limits and time frame for council, and council compensation, to review special meeting authority, to review whether council investigations in that section should require a process be approved for those investigations. And then I've also got Article 10, recall procedures, and then removing archaic and conflicting language, conflicting with the statutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I was, my scribbly writing. I apologize, I was looking down.
That's okay. But Councilwoman Gonzalez have something.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that, I know I said under elections timing, do I need to get specific with saying, for example, looking at term limits and things like that? Or will that be just understood that they'll look at it as a whole as it relates to that section?
We'll look at those sections that, and I have term limits on there separately as well. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem wanted term limits and timeframe, potentially longer terms, things of that nature would be reviewed.
So we don't have to get into specifics just now. It'll be, okay, very good.
Right,
Thank you.
just the general topics.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and I only have this one from tonight. just the residents. It was a survey done, the feedback on Facebook. Have them to look at, do the residents really want the council to appoint, or when there is a vacancy, everyone have to run for that position? And that will stop the holdover. We wouldn't have to go, not the holdover, we wouldn't have to go through everything that led to this moment, if it's just clear. If they want it, fine, we'll do it. If they don't, they don't. Because they felt like they didn't have a voice in this. And we know it's state. So I just want the residents that will be in there, not the council, just to look at it and give their opinion. And they want it on the ballot or not, at least it can not be said that this is our decision, because I don't think people clearly understand it's from the state. So that's the only thing from tonight and leading up to tonight. Now,
So-
we're going to go, yes, ma'am?
I've added to the list to review when there's a vacancy, whether appointments should be made or everything for special election.
Yes, ma'am. And I just want to go through one more time, because earlier in another meeting, I missed something. I don't want to make the same mistake. Councilmember Alvarez, do you have anything else you want to add? Councilwoman Cobb, do you have anything else you want to add? I come back. Councilmember Solomon, do you have anything else you want to add? Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything else you want to add?
As we speak about the scope, we're going to allow the committee, if they see something, to come back and request to expand. That's the only other thing.
From what I understood, when we appointed the committee, we give them what we want them to review, and when they come up with whatever they do, it's coming back to us, and then we can accept it or we can modify it. Is that your understanding, Councilmember Alvarez? Is that yours, Councilwoman Cobb? Councilmember, okay.
That wasn't, my question was if they
yeah.
discover as they do these topics, hey, it was something that you guys missed, are we going to allow them to come back and ask us to expand their scope?
I think the city attorney went over and I asked her 2 times. The council made the decision that they would tell them what they wanted them to review. Once they reviewed it, it would come back. This was the council decision.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying the answer is no, we're not going to allow it?
I know what I'm saying is you voted on it, along with the rest of your council members, that you would make the decision on, can I
I'm not pointing
finish?
that out.
Can I finish,
Go ahead.
please? You made the decision, and she has it on record, and she repeated it, that the council will make the decision on what they wanted them to review. So I can't say no, because I didn't vote on it. The council did. Now, you can ask the council members that what they wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Are we going to allow them to come back if they discover something?
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Thank you, Madam. I would think that that would be part of the process. I
Yeah.
would have to say yes. So as they're expanding on this, they're going to come up with different solutions, different options. So I think that would be part of the process, sir. I would say yes.
Yeah, and the mayor, and the reason why I say that, because what you said, we voted to do that. I wanted to see are we restricting them? But I'm tracking with Councilmember Gonzalez. I just want to make sure that's all of our understanding.
What I understood, and maybe I'm wrong, Madam City Attorney, because that just threw me off.
Well, through the process of the Charter Review Committee, we'll be bringing to the committee these particular topics for them to review in the sections that are impacted by those topics and getting feedback from them. If something comes up in that conversation regarding to those topics, we'll definitely be bringing that back to council. However, unless we get different direction, we would probably be limiting them to the topics generally, rather than bringing up completely new topics unrelated to what you've directed. Is that my understanding, council's direction?
Yes, ma'am, that's what they voted on. Anything else, Mayor Pro Tem? Councilmember Alvarez, you got something you would like to add?
No, I just wanted to, I think, it all sounds kind of the same thing. If the Charter Review Committee sees something else during their review that they think it's important, I would think once they send back their final recommendations to us, they would also provide any such notes that they may have, like, hey, look, we performed the review according to the articles that y'all gave us, but we also think you should think about X, Y, and Z. Simple, I think. No need to keep going back and forth like a ping pong.
Exactly what he said. Simple stuff.
Madam City Attorney, Ms. Gates, they all got it.
Okay. I would request a motion of direction to include the
Councilmember
topics that we've
Alvarez.
discussed.
I don't know that I caught all the extra items in there. I was more focused on the articles and letting the Charter Review Committee dive into each article. I had Articles 3, 9, and 10.
Sir?
You could just reference everything I read into the record,
Okay.
or I can read it
Let's do
again.
that.
It may-
No,
'cause
no.
I know you said you maybe
Whatever
didn't hear it. So
That sounds good. No need to read it
Whatever-
again.
What you said, no more, no
Yes.
more, yeah. Yes, sir, thank you for that, Councilmember Alvarez. Okay, I'm trying to clarify, is it okay what he just did for the record?
I maybe missed it.
Okay.
Did you actually make a motion?
No.
to-
Yes, move to approve and reference what the city attorney stated that needs to be covered by the Charter Review Committee.
All right, thank you.
Is that good?
That's fine.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. All in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you both, Councilmember Alvarez and Mayor Pro Tem, and council for giving your input. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
DS 26010, discussion regarding land banking.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Sorry. So tonight we have a presentation for you regarding land banking. As you'll recall, on October 7th, the council approved a motion of directing staff to prepare a presentation regarding land banking. As you likely know, land banks are public authorities or nonprofit organizations that are created to acquire, hold, manage, and sometimes redevelop properties and return them to productive use and meet community goals such as increasing affordable housing or stabilizing property values. Under an urban land bank program, a municipality may sell eligible real property by private sale to a qualified participating developer for the purpose of creating affordable housing. There are currently 3 known land banks in Texas: Dallas County, Travis County, and the city of Houston. Based on our population, the city of Killeen would fall under Chapter 379E of the Texas Local Government Code. We've identified no other cities in Texas with a land bank created in accordance with this chapter. We would likely be the first. Chapter 379E sets forth strict requirements associated with establishment of a land bank. Following a public hearing, the city must adopt an annual land bank plan. And then following foreclosure for tax delinquency, the city may purchase properties via private sale instead of the property being sold at public auction. Any other interested taxing entity may protest the sale to the land bank, and the property would then be sold at public auction. City must then sell acquired properties to a qualified developer within 3 years, or it would revert to the taxing entities. A qualified developer must begin development of the property within 2 years, or it reverts to the land bank, and the developer must then rent or sell the property for affordable housing, meaning the monthly rent or mortgage payment must be 30% or less of the family median income. Oh, my goodness. I pushed it once, I promise. Nope, sorry. I don't want to mess with it. There we go, okay. I apologize. I don't know how that happened. All right, there we go. Okay. meeting the monthly rent or mortgage payments must be 30% or less of the family median income. So based on the median household income of the Killeen Temple metropolitan area, rental properties under a land bank program would be limited to families making less than $46,000 a year, and monthly rent or mortgage prices would be capped at $1,700 a month. In May of 2024, the city auditor released an internal audit report regarding abandoned properties. And the objectives of that report were to determine the inventory of abandoned tax delinquent properties with outstanding code enforcement liens, determine the financial impact of these properties in uncollected taxes and unpaid liens, and assess the feasibility and benefits of implementing a land bank type program to acquire and sell or repurpose abandoned properties. According to this report, of the various land bank type programs in place across the country, Waco's Parcel and Trust program appears to provide the best model for Killeen going forward. Waco's Parcels and Trust program serves a purpose similar to that of a land bank, but is not technically a land bank as outlined in Chapter 379E and is therefore not governed by state statute. Unlike most urban land banks, which require the local government to establish a board or nonprofit to manage the program, Waco's Parcels and Trust program is an in-house program run by city staff. Under this program, the City of Waco has an agreement with the Waco Independent School District and McLennan County to transfer property that does not sell at a tax sale to the city to hold in trust. Under this agreement, Waco's responsibilities include being actively involved in all tax sales for properties in Waco, not just tax sales where the city has abatement liens, taking ownership of all properties in Waco that do not sell at the tax sale, maintaining those properties, marketing them for sale in accordance with a formalized sales program, and dispersing sales proceeds in order of priority. Waco employs a full-time property manager who's also a real estate broker as well as a tax attorney to manage its program, which has acquired and sold over 800 properties since its inception. The internal audit report recommends that staff develop and implement a policy and legal framework necessary to create a parcels and trust program, to include establishing an MOU with Bell County and other taxing entities similar to the Waco model. So in terms of the foreclosure process, the Texas Health and Safety Code, Section 342.007, states that the city may foreclose on a property that has delinquent taxes. And per the Texas Tax Code, a municipality may foreclose on a health and safety lien if the property is less than 1 acre, has been abandoned for at least 1 year, and has been tax delinquent for at least the last 3 years. The process for foreclosing on a property meeting these criteria would be as follows. Judicial foreclosure action, the property is then put up for sale at public auction, and if it doesn't sell, the property can be deeded to a trust of which the city is a trustee, and the city can then market the property for sale to a private buyer in accordance with state law. City staff estimates that there are currently approximately 114 properties in Killeen that have outstanding liens and are tax delinquent. So this is a map of those 114 properties. As you can see, the majority of them are clustered in the North Killeen area. Of the 114 properties that we've identified, approximately 35 meet the criteria set forth in the tax code, which means they are eligible for foreclosure proceedings. In partnership with a law firm that specializes in tax foreclosures, the city could initiate foreclosure proceedings on these eligible properties. And once the city has acquired a property, city staff could market it for sale in accordance with state law. Alternatively, Chapter 272 of the Local Government Code allows that the city may acquire or assemble land or real property interest and sell, exchange, or otherwise convey the land or interest to an entity for the development of low-income or moderate-income housing. If conveyance of land under this subsection serves a public purpose, the land may be conveyed for less than its fair market value. So following the foreclosure process, the city could market the properties individually or assemble them for sale for less than fair market value to a developer for the purpose of creating low to moderate income housing. So with that, we've identified essentially 3 alternatives to address abandoned properties in Killeen. The first is a true land bank. So establishing an urban land bank program in accordance with Chapter 379E of the Local Government Code, which would require establishment of a nonprofit organization and annual adoption of an urban land bank program. This would require the addition of several full-time employees and the creation of a board. Alternative 2 is the Parcels and Trust Program, similar to Waco's program, which would require establishing an MOU with Bell County, KISD, and CTC for the sale of foreclosed properties. Under this model, the city would partner with a law firm specializing in tax foreclosures to initiate foreclosure proceedings on delinquent properties, and the trust would then take ownership of only those properties that do not sell at a tax sale and market them individually for sale to a private buyer. Alternative 3 is what we're calling Assembly of Properties, which is essentially to establish a parcels and trust program as described in Alternative 2, but assemble the foreclosed properties in accordance with Section 272.001 of the Local Government Code and sell a group of properties to a single developer for the purpose of creating low to moderate income housing. So essentially, to break that down a little bit further in terms of the steps, we would partner with a law firm that specializes in tax foreclosures to proactively foreclose on the approximately 35 eligible abandoned properties in Killeen. We would establish an MOU with Bell County, KISD, and CTC. Foreclosed properties that do not sell at a tax sale would be placed in trust, and the city would then be responsible for maintaining those properties until they are sold. Once most or all of the properties have been foreclosed, we would put out an RFP for development of the properties for purposes of creating low to moderate income housing, and then partner with the developer to redevelop the abandoned properties, create housing, and put the properties back on the tax roll. Staff's recommendation is that at least one new full-time employee would be needed in order to implement this initiative. That was a lot of information, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Yes, ma'am. Great job. Could you break that down? Just do a quick overview for residents. That was a lot of information.
So essentially, the motion of direction was to research land banking, right? So a land bank is a formalized process that has very strict and specific criteria.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the alternative we're recommending. We're recommending essentially the Parcels and Trust Program. But state law allows us to, after several of those properties have been foreclosed on, we could assemble them and sell them as a group.
Yes, ma'am. All right, that was good. All right, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for that, Mrs. Mesher.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mason. Thank you, Council, for bringing this back. I attended a session about this. One of the things that came up in the discussion, I will say that people are watching what Killeen does as they do this. So that's some good news about people are seeing about us. But I think I talked to the attorney about this. I didn't talk to her about this particular thing. Could nuisance abated properties, as in those properties that were a part of a criminal enterprise that we're allowed to seize, could they be included in the land banking? Do you know? Or
if they meet the criteria set forth in state law, meaning they're, like I said, less than an acre, have been abandoned for a period of time and are tax delinquent for a period of time. If they meet the criteria, I don't know that we would be able to distinguish between criminal nuisance properties and others.
Yeah, I think you're asking if they could also be included without having to meet that criteria of tax delinquent, and I believe the answer is no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, no, nuisance abated properties are, per the Attorney General, they're allowed to be taken over by the city, if we have a program for that. The other question is, and this may come up later, in lieu of, I do like the idea of the partials and trust, because I went and listened to Waco do it. But would the Public Facilities Corporation play any role in this?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's all I have.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, staff, for taking the time to put this together and do the research that it requires. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. I've grown up here, and most of my life on 18th Street in downtown Killeen. And growing up, you know, I saw the city through that lens of where I grew up at. And now fast forward, looking back, it's kind of, if you talk to any of the owners in those areas who have been there for a significant amount of time, like some of my family, they almost feel like they're in a part of the city that's forgotten about. And I think that this is one of those things that it's a multifaceted issue. It's not an easy Band-Aid fix, but I do believe it's important that the city do something. And I think this is a step in the right direction without kicking the can down the road, because you can what-if every scenario to death and you can come up with all these different options. But at the end of the day, I think we need to pull the trigger and do something to reassure those owners and those residents in those areas that they're not forgotten about and that we are actively trying to do something to help. I like staff's recommendation for alternative number 3. My only concern is if you're waiting to group properties and a certain amount of period of time goes by and you're just unable to come up with a cluster or a group of properties as defined by the local government code, having a plan B. If you're saying like, look, we've had this property here and we just, for whatever reason, the properties around it are not, we don't think they're going to be eligible for this program anytime in the near future. So then at least having a plan B to say, well, we can move forward with this single property and have something redeveloped on that one property instead of, okay, well, we're just going to continue to wait and it's 20 years and you're paying to maintain this one property, waiting for others to become eligible, I think it would just be a disservice. So I think, like I said, I like alternative 3, just having that plan B in your back pocket, I think is a good idea.
Can we have the number 3 up there, please? And while she's doing that, Madam City Attorney, do that falls within our scope, that's something, the recommendation? And Mrs. Mesher, great job. Great job. You did a great job in presenting everything. That alternative, before council even go with that, what Councilmember Alvarez said with that addition, can we do that legally?
With the addition of just having that, with the addition, what was the addition, I'm sorry?
Well, alternative number 3 says that they would be placed in the trust until you had what was the actual term here?
It's right there, I pulled it up for you. Oh, it's gone now.
Bear with me. The local government code allows us to assemble land. It doesn't say how many parcels we have to assemble. So a group could be 2 or 3.
Okay. But if you can't get to 2, can we still move forward with 1? That was, I guess, the
question to
essence of my
legal,
question.
I would definitely have to review this
Okay.
further to be able to answer that and look probably on a case by case.
Okay, because you can do that in alternative number 2. So I don't know if it needs to be a hybrid of 2 and 3, or if that's even possible, or if we go with 3. Like I said, 3 seems like the path of least resistance. It seems the easiest one to start off with. But I don't want the city to put itself in a position where you're maintaining a vacant lot for
Correct.
10, 15, 20 years. I mean, code enforcement's kind of been doing that anyways, with some of these that we have mowing liens on back to the 80s. But I would just like to see if that's possible, if we could look into that or see if it's a possibility.
And with that, go ahead on, Madam City Attorney.
I was just going to say, we can definitely look into whatever a possibility is available to us once we acquire the properties, whatever is available to us to get that back. We can look at those options.
So, Madam City Attorney, I still have a question for you. With that being said, if the council agree with Councilmember Alvarez, is it possible if they make a motion of direction moving forward, could what Mr. Alvarez discussed, will we have to bring that back to us Or can we just table this, Councilmember Alvarez, to give her the opportunity to look at it or not? I don't know how that worked. Is that gonna be a big deal?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, Ms. Messer, interrupt but I think you could give a motion to direction to proceed with this alternative 3, and taking any opportunities we have to go forward with any amount of properties that we have that are available at that time, yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be fine.
Can you make that, when we get to that, since that's something, anyone else would like to add to Councilmember Alvarez?
I would like to add I also would like for it to be considerate when we're doing this and we're looking into those parcels and how much land we're getting, that we're making sure that we've done it in a safe way. We've done it not in a political way and not a popular way when making those judgments and those determinations. But be safe and let it be right. It has to be right, and it has to be seen on all levels as right. Are we doing everyone the same thing? Is it not political? Is it not so popular? But is it right?
Is that transparency you looking for, that we treat everybody the same?
Yes, I'm looking for that
Okay.
transparency.
All right. Okay. And I think we put those measures in place to, Ms. Messer, Attorney Clements, that's in place, right?
Yes, ma'am. We've identified the 35 eligible properties based on objective criteria.
All right, with that being said, Councilmember Alvarez, can I get a motion of direction? Wait
Mayor,
a minute, are you finished, Mrs. Messer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I'd move to make a motion of direction on item DS 26010 for staff to proceed with alternative number 3 as discussed.
Councilwoman Cobb,
I second that motion.
all in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Motion of direction carries 6-0. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready. And council, we also have to do Mr. Grady evaluation. We have to go in closed session. Just a reminder. Madam Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. DS 26011, Reunification Center Project and RFQ update.
Thank you. Welcome back, Ms. McNair.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go for the presentation, the Reunification Center Project Status Update. And this presentation is just to provide you with information on what has occurred since we last met and some alternatives for moving forward. Background, the proposed Killeen Reunification Center is an emergency shelter for unhoused individuals. It also provides office space for service providers and a designated space to use as an emergency warming and cooling center, as well as mental health and substance abuse referrals. In July, following a project update, council provided a motion of direction to suspend this project until further notice. With the funding that was initially awarded to this project, the capital improvement projects funds are on hold until a final decision is made. And our block grant, in our last meeting, last month, we reallocated those funds to 2 CDBG eligible projects per that motion of direction. This was the original funding for the project. We still have, minus what's at the bottom, this block grant money, we still have $1.8 million available for the shelter. So back in September, a request for qualifications was released. The request was to solicit statements of qualifications for the operation of a city-owned facility for the purpose of an emergency shelter with additional supportive services for those exiting homelessness, as well as supporting a warming and cooling center. We received 2 responses, one from Families in Crisis, the other from an organization called Open Gates Community Outreach. Each proposal was reviewed for responsiveness, experience, and financial capacity. This was the scoring that was tallied for each of those proposals. Families in Crisis with a total of 82.5 and Open Gates 31.5. proposal deficiencies, I know it was very important to council that anyone that would seek out to be our operator would be able to be financially stable. The initial funding gap for Families in Crisis was just over $1 million for that first year. Open Gates, their deficiencies are listed below with reference, insurance, years of business, insurance broker, and prior projects. So after that took place, I did work with the Killeen Police Department Community Engagement Unit with the social worker that is there, and he is in charge of quite a few interns. And so they conducted an unofficial survey. Once we opened the Green Avenue Pavilion, we had a fixed space that we can go and engage some of these people that were exiting Friends in Crisis in the morning, and they were going somewhere. So my goal, and in having the conversation with Mr. Patrick and his social work team, was let's find out what these people actually need, what's going on, and then let's address those while at the same time addressing what we were asked to do from council. So some notable survey results were that some of the people that were being denied access at the local shelter was just due to a lack of beds. They said they were significantly more stable in shelter. The stability comes in more ways than one, not just having a place to go at night or when there's inclement weather. They often work with Mr. Patrick, Sergeant Moore, when they are helping to stay in touch so they can be relocated back to their home states or home cities. But the stability in that shelter is greatly impactful to them. Another issue was that some people will exit the shelter with no place to go. Only one responded reporting having exited and going into housing. The city may invest community development block grant to support increasing capacity at the current shelter to accommodate additional guests. This is not more people. It's just based on the people that the homeless outreach team have engaged to see how many of them just need a bed to go into at night, because that is a public safety concern, that if we don't have places sometimes where people can go and be safe, that our public safety teams are engaging them in very dire and sometimes terminal situations. So the options going forward are to collaborate with the existing homeless shelter to increase guest capacity, utilizing the city's CDBG entitlement. Funds may be required to fill funding gaps during the fiscal year to allow for continuity in operations. During this current year so far, we have not had a request from them. We also want to and have identified a local partner with the organizational capacity to develop and operate a transitional housing project utilizing the city's CIP, CDBG, home and home art funds. So the transitional housing proposal, Syntex ARC met with and provided staff with a proposal to operate a transitional housing campus on the site designated for the Reunification Center. Phase 1 of the development will provide up to 16 single-room units. Fully developed as proposed, the campus will have 32 units. Proposed investment, again, is from these resources that were previously mentioned. Syntex ARC already is a partner with the City of Killeen, a very successful partner at that, currently working with our homeless outreach team who have these individuals who they are able to maintain contact and location of through this current homeless shelter, counseling, and provide other wraparound services to increase the likelihood of long-term success. This is the proposed site. This has not been reviewed or approved by our development services team. So this is just a conversation to give you something to give back to me, and we will go back and make it happen, if you say so. So what is different about the package that you received and what's here is I was able to include some color photos of these renderings. So again, just going back, this is the proposed site. This is the site in color. This is the proposed floor plan design. This is what a structure would look like with 8 units. The center units that you see 2 beds on either side, those are the 2-bedroom units. This is an interior rendering of an ADA unit, single-room unit, and a two-bedroom unit. I recommend that you provide me a motion of direction to continue to engage with in-depth conversation with families in crisis for the emergency shelter expansion and Syntex ARC for the transitional housing project. I do have representatives here from Syntex ARC, Families in Crisis, and with the permission of Chief Lopez, Sergeant Moore is available as well, along with Mr. Patrick, the city social worker.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that, Ms. McNair. So, providing the family in crisis, providing beds at nighttime is a safety issue. That is awesome. However, from the downtown business owners, what do the city, everything you have, that was a great presentation. I say yes to all that. Just one thing I want to add. Yes to all of that. What do we do with them in the daytime? Because when you add more beds, and something council have brought several members, and you know they're concerned about giving financial funding to organizations through past history. You discussed that, and they would discuss that with you. But my concern is the beds they need. There's no doubt. But when they in the daytime, what can we do, the city of Killeen, to help them? What else can we contribute to if they need to go to school? I know we got Kyle Moore and his team and Mr. Patrick, social worker. Great job. Great. All that is good. But adding more beds, then in the daytime you have more people. Then the park is open, then we have more people over to the park. But what can we do to enable them that they can get out of this situation? And I know they're going to always be the poor among us. I'm not knocking that. But I do want to see how can we help some. The downtown homeless crew has done excellent. But what can we do to help them? Do they need more staff? Do they need more resources to help them? We took care of the shelter. What can we do for Kyle Moore and his team?
So to equate adding beds is that there are more people. The beds are for the people who can't simply go in there now. So it's not more beds, mean more people are going to become homeless or any. That's
But
not
it is
the.
to say more people still can come here and we still need more beds.
Well, the reason why this comprehensive approach is there is because if you do have the beds for them to go, but you also have established transitional housing for them to exit, and they are able to have stabilized housing to further give them the space and place to develop the skill set to get a job, to get whatever social benefits, if they're eligible for any, to be able to get that. And then the other part of it is there's so much more the city could do, but there are financial restraints on the city. There are some cities that have homeless service coordinators that they specifically work with and partner with your economic development people, your workforce solutions type people, your city itself. Some of these cities I've come across, they actually do day labor with the people so they can have enough money to go into a hotel or motel at night. There's so many things that can be done, but there are financial restraints to allow that to happen. But I would be happy to put forth a decision package for FY27 for homeless service coordinator.
No, ma'am, because I think Mr. Officer Moore and them do a great job, but if that's something y'all think y'all need, it's a yes or no. Is that something that we need the city to assist you?
You would need to come up. But while he's making his way up, there's no city that is doing this without any investment on their own part. It is what it is, and in alignment with the executive order that's yet to be fully activated that came out, the current administration is looking for cities that are taking this type of initiative, that are putting substance use, other treatments ahead and doing transitional housing versus just opening a homeless shelter. So, Sergeant Moore?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not saying, I'm gonna call you, this could be an item for next budget. I know we cannot do. What you're doing is excellent. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
the
looking
decision
at, not on that level, you way above me. I was just talking about just simple stuff. Yeah, you done took it to another level. And that just threw me off right there. But I was just, we can add that to, but I just wanted to hear, he's there, he's been there for a while working and I just wanted to hear from his perspective.
Absolutely. I got plenty of ideas, so if you
Yes,
ask me,
ma'am.
I'm
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
give them to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. McNair. I just wanted to hear his perspective.
All right, so, well, what was the question again, just so I can? 'cause-
Just, it was just simple. She is up here on me.
Okay.
What can we do? Just small little things to make it better. Is it add another person? Not, I just, stuff like that.
So a couple of things, well, start asking for stuff, be like, give me a green light, blank check, no. But I would say, moving in this direction as far as being able to house the individuals that we do currently have, obviously that's gonna be the number one issue. Being able to have enough space for those individuals that we're not able to accommodate now. When the shelter is over capacity. And then as far as having something additional, I would just say that in a combination with having a transitional place, which is in the presentation, I happen to know some of that stuff that they'll present, the great stuff that's to try to move forward. But as far as the concern was when they leave the shelter, having I would just say the engagement with the people that we already have, and I'm not talking about us specifically, talking about the workforce, the Central workforce, the day labor places. There are projects that are out there to help accommodate those individuals and give them kind of like they might not necessarily qualify to work for the city of, like for Killeen, to work for the city of Killeen. However, we have, like in Dallas, they have a program, they have like a contractor that they are the ones that work for the city, and then they subcontract with the individuals that are in homeless so that's how they kind of circumvent, and now they're able to make money and have a job and possibly move into some of these transitional places and or a place to go. But engaging, and like I'll say, if you guys do see the streets now, that's a great work with our downtown unit that is now with us as well. And then encouraging individuals to seek help. And if they don't seek help, there's other alternatives for that as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. We are, Officer Moore, we are moving in the right direction. But with the transition housing, we know they're going to need jobs. So before we get it, that's the only thing I'm looking really here. I'm on this level. Before we get to that level, when we build, making sure that they can move in, have a job and everything that's in place on their end, because the city gonna take care of our part with that transition house.
Yes.
That's what all I was meaning. And I remember when Miss Eva Barb was here, and I think you can remember that, HR would go down there and help them with applications and stuff like that. I was just talking about stuff like that, that's all.
I understand.
And thank you, Mr. Moore. You may have another question, so just please stand by.
And I'm not sure, Mr. Bobby Eric and Mark Baker from Syntex ARC, they actually do help their guests with identifying jobs. One thing that is a constant barrier to people that are experiencing homelessness or unsheltered for long periods of time to obtaining a job is actually having an address, having a space where they can go launder their clothing, but also there's some personal hygiene issues. There's a lot of small details or idiosyncrasies that come into play when we are trying to successfully move someone out of homelessness, that these things all play a role in stabilizing that person in those other areas of life that aren't just, there on the surface that we say that's
Yes,
an easy
ma'am.
fix.
That was too easy. Thank you. Any more questions? Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Councilmember Alvarez, we'll start with him and move down.
Thank you, Ms. McNair and Mr. Moore for your time and what you do. I wanted to clarify on here, I think what you've presented and the proposal all make sense based on the resources that we have available and the partners that we have available. My question is back to, if we move forward with this recommendation, about the transitional housing project with Centex ARC and the additional shelter expansion for families in crisis. You mentioned in the presentation that we had the CIP money, roughly $1.8 million set aside. How do you envision that money going to these projects, or we haven't got to that part yet as how we're going to pay for both of these initiatives?
Yes, I have considered that. And so with the expansion at the existing homeless shelter, that money I would devote block grant money towards a public facility, which is an eligible use, and the funds that the organization Families in Crisis for the Friends in Crisis program previously received, the public purpose use on that expires this July, so that gives us an opportunity to reinvest. And with that, this is just for me to have the conversation, for their directors to go back to their board and say, can we also engage in the conversation and figure out, do we create additional space in the current space that they're in with using that square footage, or is there a need to actually build just a little bit more to have maybe, it could be that we're adding more beds for family units. It could be that we're adding more beds for women because they have they have a smaller space there for women. So we don't know exactly what that is, but that's to give us enough to actually start engaging. The CIP portion, what I am expecting, and easily you would know this as well, is that there's going to be site work that needs to be done at the Liberty Street. So the CIP will go towards partnering and making sure that we can make that happen and make that a livable space, or a space that we can develop residential units on.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm pleased. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this is great. It's a need. I understand the process in terms of transitional. We need shelter, but we need to have a transitional program to keep them out of the shelter. They have to be, they need help, they need to be taken by the hand and to be independent. And it's so important. I like this idea because how we can help them during the day, I believe, Madam Mayor, to help answer that is the transitional, because if not, shelter is just a revolving door. I've seen, as I've worked in it, and our organization have a shelter. And I have I'm honored to work with Officer Moore at times. So it's important that we have, and we really, as a city, consider the long term. I know we may not be able to do a whole lot of things right now, but we need to take the steps towards that, because if not, we'll continue to have the problem, and we need to take a further step than just shelter. We need these unsheltered need our help. They're going to be here regardless of what we do, whether we help them or not. They're going to be here. So we need to move forward and really think about it. And so I want to thank you guys for what y'all doing, and thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
It's great.
Thanks, Mayor. Everybody agrees something has to be done, and I'm glad we're going more innovative processes and approaches. The city, we can't just close our eyes. We know we have to do something, but I'm glad we're approaching this with public-private partnerships, be it nonprofit, even for-profit. And I'm going to speak on something that's the elephant in the room. So everybody in Killeen, the rate of people that are becoming unsheltered, unhoused from Killeen is not increasing. And I've been asked this a number of times, about, can you say how many people have been dropped off from other, the rate of people that live originally in Killeen aren't becoming unhoused as opposed to those that are coming from outside the area. And I've even challenged council members from other cities about giving them bag lunches and sending them here. And I think another approach to add to this is possibly getting our legislators, if they really want to help Killeen, to do legislation. But I'd be curious, are you seeing an increase from other cities? And you can even toss out names of cities so we can. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me stay back on the agenda. I'm sorry.
Sir, I'm sorry. I thought you was going one way, but that's off the agenda. It is not on the agenda.
But the approach, because I do want to make sure, because Mayor, you did talk about having even small and big, but what approaches, even if it means outside advocating?
Okay.
I want to tie it back in.
Yeah, tie that back in. All right. Okay.
Ma'am, could you restate his
I
question?
know, we asked him that. Where is he going?
I'm sorry, because it bothers me sometimes, but how do we assist you with some of these plans, even addressing some of the drop-offs as it relates to that?
Okay, so what I can speak to is that I mentioned a survey in this presentation, and one of the questions in the survey was regarding how did you become unsheltered? And the vast majority were evicted from wherever they lived. They didn't say where they were from. The staff and the leadership at the Friends in Crisis shelter, they actually have said that they are seeing more native Killeenites entering into the shelter and or seeking services from the shelter to stabilize their housing if they are at risk of eviction or homelessness. Sergeant Moore can speak more to the people that are coming from outside of the city and what their approach is in engaging them.
So one of the approaches that we've been utilizing, if you guys will remember when we did the homeless and mental health strategic plan when Dr. Marbert was here, when we identify those individuals that do not have ties to Killeen, we work diligently with our social workers, our interns, and then of course our officers that are tied to try to reach out to those family members where they're from, or it doesn't have to be their exact family, but where they're from if they have no ties to Killeen, and utilize some of those funding that we have for reunification to help do bus tickets, train tickets, things of that nature. Now, I'm in a public setting, and I don't want people to think that we're just shipping people out there is a criteria that has to be met. So if they're here, we're not just saying, hey, I'm from New York, I'm gonna give you a bus ticket. As much as we would like to do that, we're not in the business of taking our homeless and shipping them off to be homeless somewhere else. Trust me, I've been in rooms and people want to do that, but we just can't do that. And we have paperwork to sign and going from there. Just one other element to that, just like to add that if they do receive that service from us, there's a sheet that they sign basically stating that, hey, we are providing this service for you. If you happen to find yourself back here, if we shipped you to your family in Georgia, and then all of a sudden, a year later, or 6-7 months, they didn't work there, so now you decide to come back. You can't come back to us now wanting us to help provide other services for you, if that makes sense.
It does, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And to note what he's speaking on with the ID, the bus tickets, that's partially funded through the block grant. So the last 2-3 years when you've seen the social worker come up and it's over $100,000, that's partial funding for the salary and benefits, and then the other funds go towards this effort that's headed up by the homeless outreach team.
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Thank you. I just have a question regarding, initially when we had with Mr. Marbut, when he was out here, there was an all call that was put out for agencies and organizations, even inside and outside of our area. In the event that there is an agency, because there are several people that are in talks here in our area, potentially for transitional housing projects, in the event that they come forward, I know you mentioned holding block grant funds and things like that for one organization, but is it potentially limited to just this one organization? Or if somebody comes in with the means and the ability to do what we need them to do and expedite that, are those funds going to be tied up, is my question, I guess.
I would say it's important that you make the commitment, and I want to come back when we're doing the awards for Block Grant and Home ARP. At that time, that once that money is voted on and committed by the council, it will officially be set aside for an organization. But I do want to note that we did reach out to anyone that had an interest and had, private, public conversations, 'cause my conversations, even in private, are public, conversations with me about wanting to do this work. I talked to them, I gave them the information that they needed, links directly to the federal sites, and advisement on what I would need to do to be able to bring something to you all for consideration.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was happy that I was able to work with a partner that the city has already been working with. They brought it
Understood.
forth.
Yes, ma'am, I understand, but-
But if they came later on down the
That's-
line
yeah.
and there's more federal money available, or you want to put some other city money, local money in there and make that available, they could absolutely go through the process, and the council could designate those funds there. Mhm.
Everybody pretty much said everything. Because I talked with Officer Moore on exactly everything everybody else had already talked about. The one thing I do have, I think in order for us to bridge that gap between them and the workforce, just correct me if I'm wrong, we would need to hire another person to work through that.
That seems the most logical step, to hire someone to, some cities have what's called a day resource center for their unsheltered population. There's job postings, there's personal hygiene care facilities, there's laundry facilities, there's spaces for medical treatment if they need it.
Right.
So
'Cause
that's like,
I went and I visited in Temple the Salvation Army,
Mhm.
because they provide a little bit of that, and they have exactly what you just mentioned with everything. So it would take another person. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you, council, for your input. I just would like to say Sergeant Moore. Thank you, Chief Lopez. That sign language works. Sergeant Moore and Ms. McNair, thank you all and your team. Would you stand up, the homeless outreach team? Are you here? Please stand up so we can, that's the social work where we have. And Officer Cross, yeah, he was here. Thank you for everything you do. Ms. McNair, here's my chart. The council will give a motion of direction because we're going to need it. But also, the things to help you when we come up with our next budget, as I stated, those are some things that you need to start now. If you have a council, we want them. Councilmember Solomon said it with me. We don't want anyone, we know homeless will be among us, but for the ones that want to get out, we need a solid program to assist them, that they'll stay out and they'll come back and help us or work for us to give us ideas, what motivated them, what did not, whatever it takes. Just work on that for the budget. And my other thing I have is, I think is very significant. As we go through this process, and you have done a good job, and Sergeant Moore, please, we cannot lose our business, the business community downtown. We know we need to do something. We're trying to move forward with a solid plan for everyone involved. And Kate, I'm just challenging both of you, keep those open communications with our businesses. Because I want to make sure that everyone is being heard. We need each other. We need to provide for our unsheltered, but we also need businesses to have the funding to make these things happen, okay?
And if I may,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it
sure.
would be great, you know, we're speaking on jobs, if Kate and I don't mean to put her on the spot, but figure out which of these downtown businesses have some part-time jobs. And we
That's
could
awesome.
hire some of these people and help get them out of that position. So there's an option right there. Like I told you, ma'am, if you ask me for an idea,
Yes,
hold tight, I
ma'am.
got 10.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. But once again, not only finding them jobs, but we got to respect the business owners and their concerns too. That's important to this council, because downtown, Colleen is very important. Once again, Sergeant Moore, thank you for all you do. You've been with us for a while. We've seen a lot of improvement downtown, and not only with down shelter population, just safety as a whole. People feel safe, especially Chief, our squad team, and everything comes with them. We hold our events, so thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, I move to direct staff to proceed with engaging with families in crisis for emergency shelter expansion and Syntex ARC for a transitional housing project.
Councilwoman Cobb?
I second that.
All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carried 5-0. Let the record show that Councilmember Alvarez is here, but he's in the back. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready, you have, whenever you're ready.
We got more.
Yes, sir. Oh, hold on.
I was gone.
DS 26012, proposed change to operational hours for municipal court and utility collections.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. Oh, it's at 5:30? I mean, 5. Good evening, ma'am.
This item is to explore the feasibility of implementing a 4-day, 10-hour work week for municipal court and utility collections, which are both high-volume customer-facing operations. Review potential benefits, challenges, and operational considerations to an alternative schedule, which are becoming more common in municipal government. The proposed model is to open Monday through Thursday with extended daily hours from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Utility collections would open to the public 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and municipal court open to the public 7:15 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Weekly staffing hours remain the same for employees, so still a 40-hour work week. The goal is to improve efficiency, customer service, and employee retention. The benefits for employees: less commuting, which equates to cost savings, improved work-life balance, the ability to schedule personal appointments on the weekdays off, and increased morale and stronger retention. Apologies. Benefits for city operations: increased productivity with fewer transition periods and longer uninterrupted work blocks. Reduce absenteeism because staff can schedule personnel matters on their day off. A recruitment tool to help Killeen compete with neighboring cities, and potential cost savings when it comes to utilities, counter-staffing, and building operations on Fridays. If approved, the communication plan before implementing the new operational hours for utility collections and municipal court would be website banners and social media announcements, on-site signage at both facilities, a press release, notice and utility bill, and email updates to departments and external stakeholders. Although both facilities are being proposed to close on Friday, I do want to add that that customers will still have, or citizens will still have the ability to make payments on Fridays, both online and by phone. There is secure Dropbox option and by mail. The recommendation is to move forward with implementation in April, which gives us time to complete all communication efforts, train staff, adjust internal processes, and properly inform the public of the schedule change. A motion of direction of approval of new operational hours is recommended as well. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So as far as water cutoffs, would there be any done on Friday?
Water cutoffs.
Yes.
So the cutoffs would still, we do have staff that is going to be on call on Friday. So if there's cutoffs.
No, for non-payment.
For non-payment, no.
And was that
Oh, yeah. So basically what she said is that they won't turn your water off on Friday.
And Right, and so the other question, if, about initiating service as far as for new residents?
Yes, we can still schedule to turn on service on Fridays.
Right, but in that case, you would need to either come in or call ahead Monday through Thursday, because the office wouldn't be open on Friday, but we would still turn water on Friday.
Yes, sir. Yes. You get that in by the 6 p.m. on Thursday, then they can turn around and turn it on Friday.
Thank you, Ms. Kagan. My only thing was military families come in all times. And I just want to ensure we understand it, just to make sure. Ms. Tangerlin, good evening, ma'am. How are you? I just want to ensure that that information is translated to Fort Hood and everybody know this is a change. And when are we going to make this change?
We're proposing to do it in April, starting April 1st.
That's plenty of time. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's plenty of time to get the word out. All right. Anything else? Can I get a motion or direction? Council, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank
Madam
you
Mayor,
so much.
move to redirect staff to proceed with the operational change for hours of municipal court and utility collections.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Councilmember Kendrick. All in favor, yes. All opposed, no.
Raise money.
And let the record show that all council members are back on the dais. The motion carries 6-0. Madam Secretary.
DS 26013, discuss financial governance policy updates.
Thank you.
All right. As stated, this item to discuss the proposed changes to the financial governance policy, which includes the investment policy. A little background, the financial governance policy is a comprehensive source for financial policies in the city, which includes the investment policy and must be adopted annually in accordance with the Public Funds Investment Act. The first proposed change is in Section 13, capitalization threshold. To increase the capitalization threshold for individual items from $5,000 to $10,000. The reason for this change is to align with the Government Finance Officers Association best practices, materiality considerations, and commonly applied federal grant equipment thresholds. The second proposed policy change is in Section 25, Senior Citizen Utility Bill Assistance Program, application and eligibility. As the policy reads now, the current application and eligibility requires the citizen to be the account holder, 60 years of age, and there is a 6-month participation limit. The proposed addition to the policy would require a citizen to have 12 months of utility account history prior to applying, writing in the income requirements that are currently being followed, which sets household income limits at 150% of federal poverty guidelines and counts all household members and income sources and eligibility, as well as defines application validity, periods, and documentation timeframes. The reason for this change is to ensure program transparency, consistency, and proper verification of eligibility and participation. The next step is to receive City Council feedback and discuss financial governance policy proposed changes at the February 17th City Council meeting. And again, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. There are no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary.
DS 26014, city auditor briefing.
Mr. Grady, good afternoon, good evening.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Managers, Assistant City Managers, City Attorney, and City Secretary, Chief. This is my third annual year in review. This is something the City Council had recommended a few evaluations ago, and it's a good idea. I like it, so so I'm doing it again. This is I am the city auditor. Danielle Woodward is my audit intern. She's doing a great job. And with it is the one on the right. Okay. So city auditors, the mission is to provide independent analyses of city programs and activities to ensure a properly functioning system of internal controls, promote efficiency and effectiveness in city operations, and enhance transparency of the city government. It's way too wordy. I'm going to work on that. But that is, in essence, what the city auditor does. So what does the internal auditor do? So there are still some people that don't know quite what I do. My own wife used to call me Chandler back in my DOJ days because she said nobody knew what I did, and that was the running gag on Friends, that nobody knew what Chandler did. So I'm going to just go real quick, kind of give you a day in the life of the city auditor, so you kind of get a grasp of what I do. So most people are familiar with financial auditing. It's financial statement auditing of financial statements, and to make sure they present fairly in accordance with GAAP, generally accepted auditing principles. I do internal audit, which is also called performance auditing. There's a financial aspect to it. It's more operational, though, in nature. These are my standards, the government auditing standards issued by the Government Accountability Office, Comptroller General of the United States. This contains everything that talks about ethics, planning, competency, report writing, everything you want to know about audit. So evidence, at 30,000 feet, the audit is collecting evidence, drawing conclusions on that evidence, and issuing a report. There are different types of evidence, different levels of reliability, physical evidence being the strongest, the actual observation by the auditor of something. Then you have documentary, the contracts, accounting records, invoices, testimonial, interviews, phone calls. So any given audit is going to have a combination of these types of evidence, the point being that you have to have enough to support whatever conclusions that you're drawing to meet the standards. So the independence shields up Mr. Sulu, full impartiality. So the Yellow Book talks a lot about independence. For a good reason. It goes directly to the credibility of the auditor. So if your independence is compromised, that's kind of it. You're kind of done. That's the profession takes it very seriously. I take it very seriously. Doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. You can still be friendly, but you got to keep those shields up. The defining, so every audit is different, but the process is the same. And these are the phases that I go through on any particular audit. So preliminary planning, I've got Homer there because at the beginning of every audit, I like to pretend like I don't know anything. And the point being that you want to disabuse yourself of any preconceived notions. You don't want anything that is going to bias your thought process. So you really just pretend like you don't know anything. And sometimes I don't even have to pretend. But the survey phase, I've got SpongeBob there because this is when you do a deep dive to become an instant subject matter expert on whatever it is you're auditing. So you become a sponge. You're just soaking up everything. You're talking to everybody. You're looking on the internet for benchmarking and other audits. This is the auditor at their most annoying because we're asking a lot of questions, a lot of why questions. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And it's usually at this point if something has gone off the rails that you're seeing that in this phase. The next phase, the verification phase. So you're kind of sensing the same things have gone off the rails in the survey phase. The verification phase is when you're gathering more evidence and doing analysis to determine the impact of things going off the rails. So that's where you're doing the quantification. Report writing kind of speaks for itself. I spend a lot of time on report writing. I like to make sure it flows and that it's as readable as possible. And then audit follow-up. So you issue recommendations. You can't just walk away. You have to continue to follow up with the with the auditee to make sure those recommendations get implemented. And again, it can be very annoying. That's kind of our secret weapon, just kind of being annoying and make sure things get followed up on. Elements of a finding. So the standards require that every finding contain these elements in order to be a fully developed finding. Not unlike journalism with the who, what, when, where. So you have to have a condition. What is the problem? You have to be able to define what the problem is. You have to nail down the cause. What's causing the problem? The criteria. What's supposed to be happening, and the effect. Why it matters. And then sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you have rules, you have regulations that don't get followed and nothing happens. So that begs the question of why do we have this rule if nothing happens when we don't follow it? So auditors sometimes make things more complicated. Sometimes they make things less complicated, which is nice. My report's issued this period. Controls over seized asset funds. CDBG grant application and award process, and street maintenance fee. We're just putting the finishing touches on it. That'll be going out in February. So controls over seized assets. The objectives determine if internal controls are sufficient to ensure that funds from seized assets are accurately recorded and expenditures are properly authorized, and determine if the KPD complied with federal and state regulations regarding the use and reporting of seized assets distributed to the agency. Special Investigations Division is in charge of this area. They were doing a good job. They had been rotated to them recently, so they didn't have written procedures at the beginning of the audit, but they developed them during the audit. And the Real-Time Crime Center was funded wholly by the Seized Asset Fund, so it's a good program. The main finding was that seized vehicles are maintained in the open, exposed to the elements. Sometimes these cases can drag on for years, and so they are evidence. And they are assets. So they eventually, some of them will go to auction. Some of them may be pressed into duty as undercover vehicles or something else. So you want to maintain them as best you can. So the recommendation was that the KPD consider alternative solutions for long-term evidentiary storage of seized vehicles. This is not a unique problem to Killeen. A lot of departments struggle with this. Some of them farm it out, outsource to third parties, and some of them go in-house. Killeen decided to go in-house. The City Council authorized funds for upgraded storage. I'm told that the design is complete and we're ready to go to the next level. Thank you, Chief. And that's seized assets. The next audit, CDBG grant application and award process. Greater diversity through outreach. The objectives were to review the grant application and award process for program year 2025, review and analyze 2020 to 2024 consolidated strategic plan, annual action plans, and the CAPERS, and determine if opportunities for improvement exist that can be applied going forward. The executive director and staff were doing a good job. We basically sat through the entire process with them, going back to evidence. This would be the physical evidence where we physically verified that the process was going well. It was well organized, well documented, well implemented. The executive director implemented the online process this year, which really helped to streamline the Zoom process. So the one issue, I'll get back to that in a second. The need for greater diversity among subrecipients, outreach efforts need expansion, community development department website needs redesign, and some CAPER project documentation lack transparency. So with regard to the greater diversity, for the past, you look back 10 years and look at the awards for the subrecipients for the Public Service Awards. It's basically the same list of folks. they're all good agencies, and they all do good work. And so this is not about them. This is about us needing to take greater effort to make sure that we are reaching out to all of the good eligible agencies out there to make sure we get a good diverse mix of services for the participants. So we do some outreach, but we're a little bit light on social media compared to other cities. We need to step it up there. We got a great communications and marketing team. It's a small team, but it's a great team. So we need to just get the word out and get it out early because there are deadlines, and then once you miss a deadline, you're kind of out of the process. So that. So we really got to step up our effort there. And again, at the community development website it needs a real facelift, and that's true of really all the department websites. And that's the communications and marketing is already working on that. That's a project they've already undertaken. The CAPER, there were a couple of projects that kind of dropped off the radar in the CAPER reports, and these regarding Stewart Park and AA Lane Park. There was a splash pad and basketball court reconstruction. They were canceled. They were canceled for a reason, but it wasn't really. You can't really see that in the reports. You kind of needed a better explanation. I was able to. We were able to get information on that from the minutes and from talking to staff, but it wasn't really elaborated in the report. So, we just needed to make a little bit better effort there, make sure we're fully transparent when things like that happen, especially if it's something in North Killeen like that. But overall, doing a great job, the folks there. Recommendation, one is by land, two by sea. The grants are coming for CDBG. So we really need to channel our inner Paul Revere and really get the word out in terms of the applications and the process and the deadlines. So the recommendations coordinate with communications and marketing on expanding outreach through the city's social media platforms, coordinate with communications and marketing on a revamp of the CDBG website to a more up-to-date, user-friendly interface with grant subrecipients and program participants. And then just in general overview, so I've been here for, almost 10 years now. So I've got a lot of reports under my belt, a lot of recommendations out there. So that part of what I do is to follow up on the recommendations. So there have been 50 altogether. 31 of them have been closed. 19 are open. Of the 19, 16 are in progress, and 3 require further follow-up. Just to follow up on some of the specific reports, Street Maintenance Fund. One of the prior recommendations was to make sure we're looking for new pavement treatments to diversify our toolbox. Make sure we have as many different treatments as we can. And engineering is doing that. They put the pressure pave this year, which is an interim treatment between you've got the slurry seal and the HA5 for the good streets. You got mill and overlay for the streets that are going south. And there's a bunch of streets in the in-between that we don't really have a pavement treatment for. Well, we've got that now with pressure pave. And so it's cheaper than mill and overlay, so it'll be a cost savings to be able to apply that to streets that are too far gone for mill and overlay, but not bad enough for mill and overlay. Abandoned properties, we just talked about that earlier. That's good to know that we've been making some movement there. The water meter replacement, so we're 10,000 in for the new the AMI, the automated water meters, 5,000 on the way, 35,000 to go, give or take. A shout out to utility collections. They're doing a great job on early leak detection, and I got some numbers from the director over there. And it's in the savings are in the millions of gallons, and this is we're not even a quarter way in to replacing the meters. And the amount of the gallons of water saved by this early leak is really impressive. Because normally with the old meters, if it's not a visible leak, you're not going to know about it until the resident sees the water bill and says, "What the hell?" But now they can flag it. They got these continuous flow reports they look at every morning, and they flag anything that's over a certain threshold. They call the resident. They get it taken care of, and it's really saving a lot of gallons. So when we've got everything replaced, it's going to be in the tens of millions in terms of gallons saved. Animal services, we've got part-time vet. That's a big game changer, doing spays and neuters. Of course, the big nirvana is going to be when we get a full-time vet, and we can make sure we get all the furries spayed and neutered before they go out the door. And then at that point, we can talk about getting a TNR program going. It's really hard to do one without a full-time vet on board to offer low-cost spays and neuters for the feral cats. KCCC, this is the liquor operation, another mandated audit. There were troubles with inventories, some overstocking and inaccurate inventories. Been following up with too much rehearsing. My voice is going. Checking with the director over at, following up with the director at KCCC. So she's been working with the contractor. They're making good strides in getting things better there. And the audit's in progress. We've got TERS. We had it on the back burner for a little while. It's back on the front burner. And short-term rentals, contract is coming up for renewal on that, so we want to get that done. And then other audits, control over small assets, kind of a traditional audit, and warming and cooling stations we still want to look at, and Stone Tree Golf Course, doing a lot of capital improvements over there. We want to get a look at that one. And that, I'm not sure what my time is, but I was shooting for 15 minutes. These are audits. These audits are funny. First you hate them, then you get used to them. Enough time passes, you get to depend on them. And that concludes my third annual audit year in review.
Thank you, Mr. Grady. As you know, we will, as soon as after you, we're going to go in closed session to do your evaluation. And that's probably where council may have some questions.
Okay.
All right, but thank you. Great job. And please tell Miss Danielle, job well done.
Okay, I will.
Thank you. With that being said, Madam Secretary, executive session.
Sorry, Mayor. Technical issues over here.
Oh, I can read it.
Oh, no, I've got it. DS 26015, conduct annual evaluation of the city auditor.
Thank you. Pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Law, Government Code 551.001, the mayor now calls a closed meeting of the city council on the third day of February 26th at 5:57 PM under the following authority, Section 551074, Personnel Matters. The city will conduct a city auditor annual evaluation. Public discussion of this matter will not be in the best interest of the city. Agenda item DS-26-0115. We are now going into closed session. I apologize. Can we close that door? Francisco, we ready? Thank you all for your patience. I would like to call this meeting back to order at 6:22. The council had a discussion about Mr. Grady evaluation. Can I get a motion from the council that Mr. Grady will receive a 5% COLA compensation? Councilmember Alvarez.
Mayor, I'd move on item RS 26-028 to provide the city auditor with the annual cost of living increase of 5%.
Second, Councilmember Kendrick, I saw your hand. That don't work. That don't work, I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Mayor Pro Tem, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Councilmember, who said that? Oh, Councilmember Alvarez, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.